Welcome back. I'm Hamid,
And I'm Ahmadreza.
and in this video, we're going to talk about how important it is for teachers to be a part of a community and learn from each other to grow and develop professionally and personally in our teaching career and as an English user, let's say. So, Ahmadreza, what kinds of communities have you been a part of, and how important it is, do you think, for teachers to be a part of a community of teachers?
Well, that's a great question. Actually, I've been blessed to be rubbing shoulders with lots of great, tremendously professional teachers throughout my career, and I think it has helped me big time, more than I could ever think of. Like, first and foremost, I would like to discuss the issue of teachers' mental health because that is not talked about enough. It is not addressed enough. Even at the institutes I used to work at, no one gave a flying middle finger to how you were feeling as a teacher. And then I needed some people to prop me up, and it happened through the community of teachers that I had. They were mostly other, passionate teachers and like-minded people. Those who adored English like I did. So when we opened up to each other, we realized that our problems are not unique. That's the first thing that helps. When you know that.
You're not alone.
Yeah, I mean, they say misery loves company, right? So then you realize that, there are a lot of people out there who share exactly the same problem that you're going through. So it might come off as a bit of consolation, I would say.
Yeah.
And then those people can help you. Sometimes it was even like a rehab, when we used to get together, a bunch of teachers, discussing the issues we were going through, discussing the problem students or the problematic students that we had.
Definitely. Unfortunately, that doesn't happen a lot in institutes. It's like it stops at the level of nagging in the teacher's room.
Yeah.
And as you
I don't call it a community because those people have to be there. They don't choose to
That's
spend time together. Like, you simply have to tolerate all those people even if you don't like them, right? I'm talking about being more selective and finding people who think like you, who are wired the way you are. And then, you can empathize on a deeper level than simply coexisting in the same institute. So I wouldn't call that a community. It doesn't bear the hallmarks of a community to me, I would say.
So the way you put it, it begins with an individual person that comes up and says that I have this problem, and then somebody who can actually listen and share their own problems and then talk about it.
Exactly.
Yeah,
and they prop each other up, it helps your longevity as a teacher, I would say.
Definitely.
It can stave off the feeling of burnout, so it can help you be there in the game longer than you think. So
Definitely.
yeah, that was mental health wise, but then again there are other undeniable benefits to it. Like in terms of GE, sometimes you only get to talk to your students, and then there's nobody else. Maybe you don't have enough time. You don't have enough time to take extra classes for yourself. So there's no one actually to give you corrective feedback or give you some tips, to boost your GE.
And not even tips, is sort of a self-test. It's like you put yourself to test to see how you perform in a situation like the one that you've been practicing for. And then, that becomes an example of what you are. And
Definitely.
then, people can add to you, as you said, by giving you feedback.
And they can inspire you if you're humble enough, if you have that level of humility to grow and learn. You definitely will be inspired by how certain teachers, speak in English. It's just mind blowing. Like, I remember, I have a personal memory between us to share for the people who are watching right now. I remember, I think it was 7 or 8 years ago. when we had started like hanging out and rubbing shoulders with each other more. And I remember at the time, I used to mispronounce the word increase. I said increase when I use it as a verb, but I remember you corrected me. Like, I mean, you did it in a friendly way, definitely, but actually, personally, I don't care about that. Even if someone's really hostile with their feedback, as long as I'm, learning something, I'm like, okay, you can have a go at me. But then, but yeah, in your case, it was so amiable. But you said that even as a verb, it's increase, not increase. And then the epiphany happened. I was like, fuck, I had actually mispronounced the word like thousands of times in my classes. And then hadn't you told me that, maybe I would still be mispronouncing it to this day, you know what I'm saying? So sometimes it could be really awakening, like if you're open to feedback and criticism, it can help you grow even in the GE department. I would say.
Definitely. That I learned like probably 5 years earlier from another teacher who did the same thing to me. He told me that no, it's increased, it's everywhere, it's increased. And I was like, really? Yeah. Maybe I was too lazy to go check for myself, but that's the importance of being with other teachers, with other people, as you said, who love the job and the language itself, so they can help you in really good ways, really practical ways. Now, talking about the communities, there are some existing communities, and those are, as you said, some are the ones that you can't choose to be a part of, you have to be a part of, like institutes and schools. And I've been a part of a lot of communities like that, but I think maybe in 1 or 2 institutes at best, I had the chance, I was blessed to have some really good coworkers who helped a lot, both, as you said, in like when I had some psychological issues, and if I had some questions with GE or even teaching techniques, and they were always helpful. And I think it took me a year or 2 in that certain institute with those particular people, and it taught me more than all the years I spent in a lot of other institutes. And I think the only thing that made that set the difference between this experience and all the other experiences of communities I've had is there was a real community, a real sympathetic community, and they were ready to help. As you said, humility was always, at the forefront of everything, and people tried to help because they knew if they help you, they would also develop as a result.
That's right. Yeah. And sometimes it happens, like, someone might ask you a really intriguing question that gets you thinking, for a couple of days, in order to be able to answer to that question, right? So, yeah, humility has to be there. There are, numerous communities even out there, like Telegram groups and everywhere. But first of all, they're like too chaotic, I would say. And there is no certain plan to help each other out, and people are not very compassionate. It's just it's just an ego trip for a lot of those people to feel more respected and emboldened, but then a bunch of people, who can understand each other pretty well. A very understanding community can elevate you in every single aspect of your career. All right.
Okay. Now I understand. Now there are some of the don'ts and do's when you're a part of a community. But if you want to be useful, the don't is one of them. As you said, is don't trip over your ego or anything. The other one is like getting together with your colleagues and talk behind some other colleague or talk behind your students and laugh at them. That's part of I don't know how to put it, but that's part of being a teacher. Anyways, it wouldn't help the community as much if you actually took it seriously. Even if you have a problem with a student that doesn't do right, still you can learn from that. If you tell me about a student that doesn't study and tell me why you think he or she doesn't study, I might get ideas about my own students.
Yeah, we can do the spitballing, as they say, like passing the ideas around to see which one
Exactly.
is practical.
Now the do's, I think one of them, as you mentioned, is talking about our problems. Yeah.
Yes.
If you're with a teacher, you think that teacher is not too judgmental. You think they're, as you said, a bit like wired, a bit similar to you. One of the things is you talk about your problems.
Definitely.
The other one is asking questions like, how do you do this? How do you say that? What's the synonym for this? How do you teach this? That. Is there any other things that you think as a part of a community a teacher should do?
Well, I believe every teacher has their own strong suit. Like someone likes vocabulary more than other stuff. Someone likes the techniques. You get to see a lot of people who are very professional. They teach with great panache, as they say, with great ease. They make it look so easy. So whenever I see such teachers, I ask them questions, and they're usually very generous with their knowledge, I would say. But I think you should be generous with that knowledge that you got, with that strong suit of yours, because you cannot excel in every single part. Like there's something you're better at as an experienced teacher. I've never seen an all-around teacher, who covers, who has aced everything and possesses a flawless amount of knowledge in every single sphere of language teaching and language learning. So being willing to share, that's for one. That's what you need to do.
Yeah, so it's somehow a humility on the part of the listener, and then generosity on the part of the person that is giving you some tips and stuff. Yeah,
and a wise man once told me, if you don't look far enough, you won't find a great mentor. So you need to be ready. You need to have that insatiable thirst to grow before you can actually find a mentor. Because if you don't have that mindset, even if you cross paths with that mentor, you will not treat them as your mentor. You know what I'm saying? Being ready, I think it's called growth mindset. You need to have that growth mindset. It shouldn't be competitive in a toxic way. Members of a community shouldn't try to outshine each other, try to humiliate each other. And unfortunately, it happens,
all the time.
Here and there, yeah.
I guess one of the reasons is people don't understand the value of learning from a community of teachers, because and a reason for that is because there's no supervision over a lot, or at least I can safely say at least 50% of teachers are never observed in their lives, and they don't feel that they need this. I'm talking about observation only, but there are other things. Not a lot of teachers would go and, as you said, improve their GE just to be able to a better teacher. They think, all right, with this level of GE, I've been teaching for 5-10 years now, and I can still go on. Nobody's there to, okay, I'm all right. I'm not gonna teach C1 or C2. I'm okay with A1 or A2 or B1, and I can teach that forever.